Thought I could do that a lot more effectively with one hand, but I have weak fingers. Cue the intro.
Brandon, aka Big Dick Perna. I'm waiting for my Bud Light, and that's good. Broncos! Woo! Brandon, aka Big Dick Perna.
Well, if you say it is, then I'm not gonna disagree with you. Welcome to That's Good Broncos. I'm Brandon Perna, and after that game, I feel the exact opposite of Michael Crabtree, who did not play with the chest injury. Yes, he is still heartbroken after Aqib Talib took back the gold chain he gave him. That chain snatching last year wasn't a move of aggression between two football players, but a bad public breakup between two lovers, and Crabtree's heart has been in pain ever since. His chest injury was a broken fucking heart, like his broken fucking chain. But that's why you come here, to get the little known facts. Facts like Aqib Talib gave him that chain as a gift. Lovers quarrel? You tell me! Unlike Crabtree, I'm in good spirits after the Broncos win. It was ugly, but it was a big division victory for the Broncos heading into the bye week, and they're facing a vicious road schedule coming out of the bye week. After they play the Giants, they have 3 road games in a row, with the last being in Kansas City, which could be a fight for the top spot in the AFC West. Let's review this Broncos-Raiders game. That's good, Broncos. Oh, welcome my new sponsor here at That's Good Sports, BetDSI.com. Yes, sponsored by BetDSI.com. It's one of the best sports books out there for all of you who want to wager on games every week. Check this, BetDSI is giving all That's Good Sports fans here a free $25 to bet any way you see fit, any game, any sport. Really, if you don't turn the free $25 I give you into $1 billion, you're a sucker. Just use my code, GOOD25. Yeah, you heard it right, it's a little different this time. GOOD25 gets you $25 to use on their website. There's a link in the description, and please, if you do win big, please remember me in my Patreon account for a sizable donation. Similarly to in Buffalo, this game started with a few 3-and-outs. But then Denver scored first on a drive that saw Trevor Siemian make a perfect throw to Benny Fowler, and then a very lucky throw, and concluded with a beyond impressive one-handed catch and touchdown by tight end AJ Derby. Hey, Odell Beckham Jr. called AJ Derby. He wants his swag back. Guess what, Odell? Derby don't check his voicemails. Suck it. That touchdown was awesome. Then Brandon McManus spanked the gooch. The Broncos were up 10-0. Sadly, Darian Stewart got torched by some guy I've never heard of on the Raiders roster for a long, I'm talking long, like 70-yard touchdown pass. Stewart just didn't see the play right from the get-go, and with that quiet groin injury he has, there was no way he was catching back up to Johnny Holton, whoever the fuck that guy is. Broncos entered halftime up 10-7. After squandering a promising drive with more offensive line false start penalties. Denver could have taken a timeout at the end of the half and maybe nabbed another possession with a little less than a minute to go, but they didn't. You guys were upset about it on Twitter, but not as upset as I am about your bad grammar. Jesus Christ. Tweeting me things like, why VJ didn't took a timeout by good hombre. Look, I'll give you a pass since English may be your second language, good hombre, but Prankman 1000 took? It's taken. It is taken. You use taken in this situation. Coming out of halftime, CJ Anderson had a fire under his ass. And when your ass is on fire, you crank out the longest run of the season for the Broncos. He got Denver into Raiders territory. Again, the line struggled to protect Siemian, and Denver had to settle for a field goal, going up 13-7. But today in this game, the Broncos defense was fucking great, besides that one giant touchdown and a little bit later a drive they gave up, but they overwhelmed the Raiders in the second half. I gotta say, I feel sorry for Donald Stevenson. Menelik Watson got hurt one play. He missed one play. Stevenson comes in to replace him and just immediately gives up a sack to to Khalil Mack. Luckily, it wasn't a strip sack because Trevor Siemian's knee hit the ground, so the Broncos didn't lose possession there. And I believe they settled for another field goal on that drive. I'm done criticizing Donald Stevenson. I just feel bad for him at this point. But herein lies the problem with the Denver Broncos team right now. There's a lot to be excited about, a lot of positive things. But finishing games, closing out games, and taking advantage of opportunities to fucking kill your enemy when you got the chance is what the Broncos offense is currently incapable of doing. They've got too much sympathy for their opponents. I mean, they are down. They've got the gun pointed at them, and all they gotta do is pull the fucking trigger. But it's like a bad action movie with the Broncos, like, except they're the bad guy in this situation. When the bad guy has the good guy down and all he has to do is shoot him, get the final shot in, but he's got to get in a one-liner. He's got to say one more thing, which gives somebody just enough time to save the day. That's kind of like what the Broncos offense has fucking been like. The Raiders went for a fake punt deep in their own territory, didn't convert it. Then Marquette King got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after throwing the football at a player. So Broncos have great field position. All they gotta do is score. But on their first passing attempt, Trevor Siemian's ball was batted 1,000 fucking feet in the air. I mean, this ball had the craziest amount of hang time I have ever seen. It had more hang time than, no, I won't say it had more hang time than Aaron Hernandez. That would be rude and insensitive. So I'm not gonna say that, but it was up in the air forever. Emmanuel Sanders caught the ball, but it backed the Broncos up in the red zone. They can't score a touchdown. McManus lines up for a chip shot field goal, and he misses. This field goal by McManus would have given the Broncos a 19-7 lead at that point, putting the game really out of reach for the Raiders. But like I said on Twitter, every game McManus has missed a field goal, the Broncos have eventually won. But their inability to close out games it's a problem that needs to be fixed. And I don't know how you fix that. That's like one of those intangible football things that you're like, oh yeah, shit, we gotta get better at doing this, but how do we get better? You gotta fucking execute. I guess I just figured it out. They just gotta execute. All right, so Riley Dixon backs the Raiders up on their own 4-yard line. This is in the fourth quarter. But instead of just, I don't know, getting a safety, forcing a 3-and-out. This is the time the defense can't stop EJ Manuel, of all quarterbacks, that drive like 80 yards down the field, kick a field goal, the Italian kicker, and the game is 16-10. It's within the Raiders' grasp. The offense goes 3-and-out. So, the defense back on the field. The defense has to win this game for the Broncos. We're all getting nervous. We're all getting scared. My fucking heartburn's starting to flare up because I'm getting knots in my stomach. And not the good kind of knots, like garlic knots. I'm talking about the bad knots. Like, you better not do that to me again, Broncos. Raiders driving. They're driving, and then fucking Justin Simmons saves the day with an interception, a big dick interception to end the game, high pointing the ball, better than Amari Cooper. Beautiful play by Simmons. Can't say how clutch that interception was, and we have been critical of Simmons through his first 3 games of play. This makes up for it. Look, the Broncos put up almost 150 rushing yards. CJ Anderson had 95. And when you're running the ball effectively, there's no excuse for the passing game to not work. Siemian had 179 passing yards, 1 touchdown, so that's something that definitely needs to improve. And not even if Tony Romo was actually a football psychic would he have predicted that AJ Derby would finish the game as the Broncos' leading receiver with 75 yards and a touchdown. But the most impressive stat of the day goes to the Broncos defense, who gave up 24 rushing yards. They are insanely good against the run, which is a complete 180 from 2016. And that's hard to do. To have a part of your team that was an area that was really bad to turn into probably their best strength the next season, you don't see that a lot in the NFL. It's why the Broncos' offensive problems haven't magically been fixed yet. If only that could happen for the Broncos' offense. A 180 from last year. But it doesn't happen like that in the NFL. That's why the Broncos' offense is still struggling. Even though I think they're better, they have a lot to improve on. The pass protection's an issue. Trevor Siemian being a young quarterback, he's doing a lot of things better too this year, but for whatever reason, the situations they get into, the second half, they have just not been as nearly as productive as they are in the first half. Now, that might be figuring out how to do better adjustments at halftime. The opposing defenses may be better at figuring out how to slow down the Broncos in the second half than the Broncos offense is figuring out how to continue to exploit the defenses, and that has been a criticism of Mike McCoy in the past. And I need to apologize. Before the game, I was reading a list of inactive Broncos on the That's Good Broncos channel for my pregame, and whatever list I was reading was not correct. Maybe it was from last week. That could be a mistake I made. But I apologize for saying Booker was out and Taylor was out because they were clearly in the fucking game. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr left the game with a back injury. EJ Manuel, the backup, looked good, but did what backup QBs are supposed to do. Come in when your quarterback gets hurt and lose the fucking game. So good job, EJ. This episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. You can download the SeatGeek app with the link in the description. Use my promo code ThatsGood, all one word, for $20 off your first ticket order. You better get Broncos tickets when the Giants are in town, because after that game, like I said, the Broncos are going to be gone for 3 weeks in a row. And as always, you can preview your seat before you buy it on SeatGeek. They rank their ticket prices so you know what kind of deal you're getting, and use my promo code ThatsGood, $20 off. SeatGeek. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Subscribe here. Your continued support on Patreon is, I can't tell you how important that is, and I appreciate everyone doing it. Twitter @BrandonPerna. Share the video. Love it, Broncos win.